Hello and welcome to another MySQL tutorial where we'll just continue on from where we left off. And so what I've done right here is I've made a new file titled login.html. Inside I have my jQuery code, and then I've made two inputs with login and password, and then both of them have the placeholder attribute. If you remember from very long ago, we've actually done this before. It basically specifies a short hint that describes the expected value of an input field, and a button with the ID of entry, and it's titled login. Now, through script tags, let's send our login and password to our PHP file. Inside of script, let's use the jQuery post method, and then let's send the data to check.php, which we will make later on. And then in curly braces, let's type in login, which will be sent to login, the variable, like this, and then we'll do it through val. Now for password, we'll send it to the pass ID, and then val like this. Now let's open up a function. Let's also make a div just before that, and it's gonna be status. Let's close the div, and in the status div we'll place our result. Here we are. All of this needs to work after clicking on our entry button. So here we go, and now let's create our check.php file, and then we're going to put our post method PHP code in here. So here we are with our login and password post method codes, and then through echo I'm just going to show my login and password variables. To just check up on our code before doing anything else, first of all, what I see right here is that I had missed a hashtag for entry, as that is for an ID. So go ahead and check if you have anything else wrong, and we're going to save, refresh. Now if I type anything in here, click on login, I will get all of whatever I've typed in my login and password fields in my div. However, this wasn't what we actually wanted. What we're going to do, we're going to go to phpMyAdmin, MySQL DB1, and to our users. First of all, let's go ahead and join our database. So that is just writing our require in the config folder con1.php, which we made in our very first lesson. And then in an SQL variable, we're going to add the proper query. And then inside of here, we're going to put our code. So it's going to be select ID from our users database, where login equals our variable login. So we put it like this. And we also need our password, which is this right here, which equals also our variable password. We also need to put our result variable like so, and we're going to do this through the MySQL query. We're going to put con and our SQL, and after that we're going to put the value, and then we're going to put MySQL num rows, which will get us to result, and then we just need to echo our value. So let's try to do this. Let's save, come in here, and let's just write something random. Click on login. Alright, so if we go ahead and write something random, we're going to get the letters with a 0. This is because nothing was found in our database. No lines, so 0 line. Alright, so one more thing that we're going to do is we're going to put require config con1.php at the very top of our code. Now let's, for example, write Simon and Simon Pass in here. Simon Pass. If I click on login, I'm going to get the number 1 as Simon Pass was found in my database. Alright, so now if we just want to check this, what we're going to do is we're going to put our value in here, and we're going to put 2 equal signs with 0. So if this is the case, then we're going to echo something like wrong entry, and then we're going to put a semicolon right here as we do. And then for else, we're just going to echo something like correct entry. And let's check this. Now if we save refresh, write Simon and Simon Pass, I'm going to get correct entry as that was actually found. And if I was to write something random like so, I will get a wrong entry and with the 0. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this echo and this echo right here. Now if I save refresh, let's try something random. I'm just going to get wrong entry just like that. If I actually type in the right details and if I click on login, I will automatically get correct entry. So the reason why we put require at the top right here is because when we require or include something, the code within that file is run with the same scope as the code where the command is issued. So this means that anything that you do within the included file affects the rest of your code within this scope, including assigning values to variables. So as we're already familiar with MySQL escape string, that is exactly what we're going to do right now inside of login and password. And here we are. Also, one more quick thing that we should do is we should replace con with password and pass and the opposite, just for it to work properly. So this is login and the other needs to be changed to password. Here we go. To move on, let's go right here and let's go to structure, and what we see right here is for password the characters can be up to 40, so that lets us put code inside of our password. So let's go ahead and add in a new login and password, and the password is actually going to be coded. So for login, for example, let's put Alice, and then password is going to be 128, and then the age, let's say, is 24, and everything else will be filled out by itself. So let's say we put Alice 1 to 8 and 24, everything else will be filled out by itself. However, our password field is going to be coded, so we're going to do that in the function section, and that is going to be through MD5. So this is a widely used algorithm which produces hash value. And so what we're going to see right now, if we click on go to browse, instead of our 1 to 8 code password, we're going to get something that looks like this, which did MD5. So if anyone wants to hack this, go ahead. Now through PHP, let's try to get this password's value. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to use the print function of PHP, which does essentially the same thing as password. So echo and print are actually called statements. They're just functions of PHP. And so the difference between echo and print is that echo actually has no return value, while print does. They are more or less the same. And so if we want to see this actually work, let's save this, refresh. Now let's put our Alice and 1 to 8 details. If I click on login, and then as we see I have an error here, so slight mistake, instead of con I put cos. So So now let's save, refresh. Let's do that one more time. And if I click on login, I'm going to get 1 to 8, and I'm going to get wrong entry. So we do actually know that the password is 1 to 8. However, if it's coded, it's something that looks like this. So these random jumbled numbers. So let's try and make PHP understand what we've done here, which is that we've used MD5. And so to do that, we're simply going to add to our password the MD5 function, in which we're going to put just our password variable. So let's go ahead and try this. Let's save, refresh, and now let's put our Alice and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Click on login. We're going to get our coded password, and we're going to get correct entry. And just to make our code look kind of nice, let's delete that print password because it just shows the password. We don't need it. And if we go ahead and type in our details, click login, we'll just get our correct entry, and if it's wrong, we'll obviously get wrong entry. Also, if we would just want to talk about some other passwords, what we're going to see is that if I go ahead and edit this right here, so our Alice named user, what I can do instead of MD5, there's also something called SHA1, so SHA1. And let's put the same password as last time. Let's put it 128. Let's click on go, and what we're going to see right now is that it is way bigger than MD5, and it has the same exact way of working as MD5. And if we go ahead and change MD5 with SHA1, and if we save, refresh, write our details one more time, what we're going to see is that we're still going to get correct entry, as it is working perfectly fine. And if I was to just write something random here, we'll get wrong entry. And then what we can do is we can print it once more. So if we print password, save, refresh, we have to do this one more time, one last time, and click on login. What we're going to see is that it is the same password as it is right here, as it should be. So that means that our SQL query has returned a correct query. And that was all that I had prepared for today's lesson. Thank you so much for watching.